everybody? My name is Katera. I am the co-founder of Carolina Black Book.
And I am Karima. I'm the other co-founder of Carolina Black Book, and excited to bring you another CEO chat today. We will go ahead and kick it off. Pass it over to Dalvina to tell us a little bit more about herself and her business.
Yeah, well, I'm Dalvina Phillips, and I'm the owner of Be Still and Heal Therapy and Consultation Services. So I provide therapy to adults and mental health therapy to adults, and I do depression, anxiety, and trauma, private practice. So that's me. That's where I'm at, and I'm all virtual. So I've been virtual the whole time I've been open, which I did open during the pandemic. So I'm able to access people across South Carolina, even though I'm located in Columbia, South Carolina. So yeah.
That's great. That's the great thing about technology. You're not limited to where you are. And especially with something like therapy, a lot of people don't even really want to talk to someone in the city that they're in, you know? So I feel like that's a great thing right there.
And that's a really good point. Sometimes I will get people who are in other counties or whatever, just because they know a lot of people in the area. They may even know the therapists in the area. So they try to branch out a little bit because it feels a little bit safer. So yeah.
Got it. So how did you get started in this career field?
Yeah, so psychology has always been my thing, even when I didn't know psychology was my thing. So I originally was pre-med, but psychology has always came natural, but it was never like, girl, just do a field in psychology until college. And I took a whole lot of courses, and I decided to minor, and then I decided to major. And then it was just like, girl, do it. It comes effortless to you. I love helping people. People usually love coming to me for different things. So I wound up getting my specialization in applied clinical psychology, and it's kind of been going since. I've been a mental health clinician since I graduated from graduate school in 2013, and then I became a licensed professional counselor in 2016. So yeah.
Nice. It's amazing to me, like how many people I've gone to school with and just had no idea what they were studying, and like,
yeah,
I was like, I would be a little more.
I think everybody wants you to study.
Yeah, I would be a little more nosy if I could do college again and be like, well, what are you doing and what are you into? But yeah.
Which is why they encourage a lot of people now to come in undecided for your freshman year to kind of fill it out, see what courses you like more than before. So I think that could have been really helpful versus kind of feeling like you got to have it all figured out at the beginning.
Definitely. Look, I started elementary education and I had to change that. So I get it for sure.
Yeah. Well, good. Okay.
And I started pre-pharmacy, and as we know, I am very far away from that today.
Yes, and that's fine. Are you happy?
Look, I am happy. Yeah. Look, I think I'm walking in my purpose. So look, that's all that matters. I had a curvy road, but I'm
That's good. I love the way you said that.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So getting back to you and in your journey, and of course, we are still in the pandemic, even though we're just not in the thick of it as much as that 2020 brought. Right. So just thinking about the pandemic and just how it has changed our lives, changed the world, how has it impacted your business?
Yeah. So when I first started, when pandemic first started, I was working for a group practice, and it did impact it in a big way because we had to close the doors, and actually those doors are still closed. We still got to pay the lease, but the door is still closed because we wanted to just really keep everybody safe. So that was a challenge that way. And then people who were used to seeing people in person, some of it worked out where they saw us virtually. Some of them had the preference for in person. Some of them had technical difficulties. So it was definitely a learning curve for sure. So that was the initial thing. But as we kind of got rolling, and as there is a huge need for mental health, things kind of leveled out and things got back stronger. And again, I actually went private practice in the pandemic. So for me, it's been steadily climbing. It's always people who's calling because there's a huge need for it, both because of things that were prior pandemic that were exacerbated because of the pandemic, and because of things that showed up because of the pandemic. So that's pretty much how I've been affected. So a lot of bittersweet things in there for myself in the practice.
Yeah, bittersweet is a good way to put it, because the pandemic forced us to do a lot of things very differently, but I think
Yes.
for many people, it also brought about different possibilities, a different look and feel on work-life balance. And I mean, and just like you
Right.
said, you know, going from group practice to private practice. I mean, like you have your own thing going now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And just so excited to have you a part of, you know, Carolina Black Book being listed in the
Yeah.
directory. I was so happy when I saw the news, and it's like, you know, when you see people doing great things, you're like, okay, noted, like, you know, hit them up for this, or like
Yeah.
keep them in
I
mind
was
for
excited.
things.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, girl, let's do that. So
Yes.
yeah, I love that you mentioned the work-life balance thing, because it was a lot of people trying to figure that out, or even realizing how much it was in lack. So when work wasn't there for whatever reason, it was shut down or lessened or whatever, it was like, who am I? And what do I do now? What do I do with all this time? What do I do with this person who's in my house, or the kids that are in my house? So that was just another way the pandemic just, again, brought out a lot of things and brought a lot of people to us. So yeah.
I was going to ask that, do you feel like because of the pandemic and everyone was kind of like solo into themselves and had this time to like be all in their head, like did you feel like you got an influx of like people reaching out who were just kind of, I don't want to say suffering, but yet for lack of a better term, suffering, you know, during the pandemic mentally?
Yeah, and I would say suffering for sure. We all have pain, but when you're kind of dealing with it and you may not have the coping skills to deal with it, and you're just kind of dealing with it alone, or shaming yourself for dealing with it, it can create suffering for sure. And that is what a lot of people were doing. Like I said, there were things that were pre-pandemic, but there were a lot of things that came out when I had time to spend with myself or spend with the people I love. So yeah, I definitely agree that that was a factor in it.
Gotcha. And I'm not sure if we said this, so just in case we didn't, it is National Mental Health Awareness Month. So for those who are considering therapy or who are research counselors, what are some important traits that they should look for in a therapist?
I always say go to a directory or go to websites and just read, and see if they speak to you. A lot of us try to speak to the clients in which we serve. So see if that therapist speaks to you, see if you like their style. And then first go there and then do some consultation calls, give them a call up to see if your personalities match and things like that. I know I offer consultation calls both for myself and for the client to just see if we're a great fit. Like I was saying at the beginning, I take adults only. So I get a lot of people who need kids, and I do depression, anxiety, and trauma, but there are a whole lot of things that I don't see as well. So then I would be able to direct them to somebody who serves them. But some of that can be weeded out if you read their profiles, give them a call and things like that. So I would say read their profile, see if it speaks to you, talk to them, see if it speaks to you, and then know that you always get the chance to make another choice if you get in and it doesn't feel like a right fit. Every therapist isn't for everybody. Every client isn't for everybody. So quit the therapist, but don't quit therapy, because it's important for you to make yourself a priority.
So have you ever had like a consultation where you just kind of knew off the bat, like, oh, this is not going to be a good fit at all? Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't see kids, so I get it a lot with kids. I may get someone who it's very clear it's an issue with substance use or things like that, and I don't work with that population as well. No, we're trained on it, we know all the things, but it's just not the population I specialize in, and it would be selfish of me to keep you when I know you can be better served for somebody who specializes in it. So it's not personal to us to say you aren't a great fit for me, and I hope that you guys wouldn't take it personal as well, because you're always going to have the best. We're going to have your best interests at heart with you getting the care you need.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think that's very professional of anyone to be able to say, I'm not a good fit for you, because at the end of the day, these people are spending their funds, and, you know, we want to make sure that they're getting their money's worth. And if there's someone who specializes in that, and that's not what you specialize in, then yeah, definitely makes sense to just go elsewhere. So.
And again, know that you can do that, because a lot of therapists, they do just see everybody for one reason or the other. So if you notice while you're in it, something doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel safe, there isn't a good connection, you get to say, I'm gonna search elsewhere. Let's search elsewhere. Don't give up on the therapy, because you should take care of yourself. So yeah.
Is there like a recommended time frame that you would think a client would need to take to see what, from their perspective as to whether or not it would be a good fit? Like, like a certain number of sessions, or is it just really kind of depends on the person?
Okay. Good question. So let me think about people I've had so no, there's never a right time frame for anything. I get the time frame question a lot. It's all going to be case by case and personal, just such as how long am I going to be in therapy? It's all going to be case by case of you getting what you need. But what I will say is go a session or two, see what's going on, see how you feel about it, see if it feels safe. If something seems off, then you get to talk to the therapist about it. If that feels strange or uncomfortable, you can email them about it as well. Don't worry about us. It's completely about you guys. So I would say do that, because it could be them thinking they're meeting your needs and then they're not. So it could just be a matter of just getting on the same page. It was something else I was going to say as well. But that's mostly how it would answer that question. There's no specific time frame, but just kind of see how it goes, and don't worry about us. Only worry about you in it.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So thinking about, just the areas that you specialize in, I know you've got to take on a lot of emotions and a lot of energy. And I know depending on how many people you're seeing that day, definitely be a lot to take in for the day. So just considering that, like, how do you balance all of that? Or like, what's your self-care routine, just as you are, essentially kind of helping people to, take better care of themselves? What do you do to take care of you?
Yeah. So self-care is balancing some of that stuff. And what I mean by that is how you mentioned you see a lot of people and that you could take some of that on. I also manage the amount of people I can see. So I played with that number a little bit and was like, what's a good number that works for you to where you don't feel drained or exhausted at the end of the day? So that was the first thing I did. And you just do that for you. And that's for anybody's work. You have to do that for you. After that, I would say that I am really good about keeping boundaries. So I keep healthy boundaries with my clients. When I am with my clients, I take you on, we're in the room together, we are in the moment. But I'm also being very clear on knowing the place that I serve for my clients. So I listen with an ear of, what am I hearing? What are the things that we need to kind of process and work through, rather than just kind of being in the emotional moment with them. So I'm really good about that. And I, like I said, I feel like that's a boundary. And when my clients leave me, I kind of allow them to take everything we worked on and kind of take it with them. So instead of me holding on to it and keeping it, because in doing that, I'm not going to be the best me I can be for the next client. So then I start over with the next client. And that's been something that's been super helpful for me. I do really good with keeping boundaries with them. Other self-care on top of that is I just make sure I check in with me. And it's not necessarily a routine, like I do this or that. I just check in, like, you're feeling a little off or you're feeling tired. Like, is there anything different going on? Do we need to do something? Get a pedicure, manicure, massage, or talk to your friends, or have some girl time. I'm always with my babies, and anytime we get to go out and do things, me or the hubby, that's self-care for me. So it's kind of just as needed, check in with yourself when things feel off. Being really intentional about how you take care of you is the way I do my self-care routine.
Yeah, those are some great things. Boundaries in itself, just the importance of those. So when you said that, I was like, okay, yep, noted.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you brought up check-ins. I've been in like a 2-day making it personal workshop. And that was one of the key things that they emphasized, just prioritizing those check-ins. And I was like, okay, like I took a lot from that. And it's something that I was like, I'm going to do that for myself, and I want to do that with my team. So just hearing you say that, I was like, you know what? This is like, it was day one of it, day two of it. And then now I was like, you know what? This is how it's supposed to be. So
take it. That's for you.
So for anybody that's like on the fence about therapy, what advice would you give to them, or how would you convince them that mental health is important?
So after we do the check-in with ourselves, if anything feels off, so I'm feeling something doesn't quite feel right, or I'm feeling sad or feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxious, I'm thinking a whole lot. And that's something I don't normally do. I'm not recognizing myself, or I'm starting to isolate myself, kind of noticing things that either isn't typical of you or something you just don't like that you want to kind of see a change in. I would say get therapy for it. A lot of times people feel like it's not big enough, it's not as bad as somebody else's or the next person. I'm just overthinking, they lost their grandma or whatever. But it's, when is it ever enough? When does your pain get to be a pain that's worked on as well? So I say everybody's is enough. If it's something that does not sit right with you, get the help that you need. It doesn't mean that you'll be in therapy forever. It could be really, really short to just get you a space to get in, process, get some coping skills, and then just see where you can go from there. So I would say do the check-in and go from there. Yeah.
Got it. Do you feel like, because I feel like we live in this whole microwave society where people just want everything now and really quickly. So I would think that possibly people come into therapy thinking maybe they can just do a few sessions, and really it's more of a long-term thing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because people will come in, they're like, fix me, please. But as we start talking, it just is a natural thing. I can't say that I've ever had people after they started be like, when is this going to finish? And when is this going to end? Because you'll know each session, have I improved? Is there something still that I'm working on? So you'll know once you get in there. But it's those beginning phone calls. It's like, how long is this typically? It's like, I won't know till you get in here. And it varies. I'll have some people for a few months, and I may have other people. I've had people since I've started who may come in for maintenance or whatever. So it varies for what you may need, but you'll know what you need when you're in session each time. And because you realize it works, and I realize the changes that I see in my life, you'll want to stay in and take care of yourself until your journey is complete for it.
Got it. So anybody out there who's on the fence about therapy, Dalvina says, go for it.
Go for it. Do it.
Well, that is all that we have for our little chit chat today. But definitely would like for you to shout out your social medias or your website, how people can get in contact with you in case they are interested in doing a consultation or signing up for your services.
Yes, I can be reached at my website at www.bestillandheal.com. And I'm also on not all of them, but many of the therapist directories. So Psychology Today, Therapy for Black Girl, Therapy Den. But if you just Google my name, you'll probably be able to find me because it's unique. So you can find me in any of those ways. And I also just recommend that for finding therapists in general. Like I said, you go on their websites, read their bios, see if they speak to you. A lot of those directories I just mentioned, you get to select different things you need. So issues, gender, ethnicity, insurance, things like that. So that's just another helpful thing that I just want to throw out there for you. There are many therapists out there who's ready to help you get through whatever it is that you need.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And we'll add that into the video as well, so they can see it and hear it and see it at the same time. Let it resonate, sizzle a little bit. Mm-hmm. Well, that's it for our CEO chat today. So again, we want to thank Dalvina Phillips from Be Still and Heal. Again, I'm Katera, co-founder of Carolina Black Book. And we can't wait to see you guys at our next CEO chat. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.